Warning: this program is intended for adults of legal drinking age. Whiskey is consumed and discussed. The intent is to educate our palates on the differences of whiskey flavors and not an intent to get drunk. Please drink responsibly.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
We're live?
Almost. Oh, we are? I didn't hear that. Wanru and I were so busy talking, we didn't even hear that. And Joseph's posting to social media and dropping his phone. This is an exciting start to an exciting episode.
This is a professional show, and we are professionals.
Yes. You know what's going to make the show better? Whiskey's going to make the show better. Hey, everybody, welcome to I Fucking Love Whiskey. My name is Andrew Pierce. I fucking love whiskey. Surprise, surprise. I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Mr. Joseph Limbaugh.
That's me. I'm Joseph Limbaugh. I fucking love whiskey. And this is my good friend and amazing improviser, Wanru Tseng.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
Yay.
she's joining us today.
Yay.
So
I like whiskey. Okay.
Okay.
I hope to effing love whiskey by the end of this.
Okay.
Together.
We will,
So, let's see.
we'll check in with you at the end.
squad goals.
Well, yes. Hey, welcome to a super terrific special episode of I Fucking Love Whiskey. Yesterday was Joseph's birthday, and then randomly, using random.org, maybe we're sponsored by random.org. I don't know. You know what? We got your number. Random.org. Sponsor us. Come on. Anyways, random.org, using really good quality random numbers, selected 4 whiskeys for us today from my whiskey inventory. And
Andrew was very excited about this selection.
it's unbelievable because the 4th whiskey it selected for the show is my favorite of all time whiskeys, the PC5.
Which
And
I've never had.
Joseph's never had.
Never
I definitely have not tried any of these. So
No, there's only 6,000 bottles of it in the world. And it was put out, I don't know, over 10 years ago. It's been around a while and it's phenomenal, probably over 20 years ago now. So it's super rare, but it is extraordinary. But like, I'm not going to lead the witness. You're going to tell me what you think of it, and you might not like it. You might be like Joseph T-shirt. You might go.
Meh.
I feel like I'm being led, but you know what? I'm willingly going wherever. Like, just walk me down the gangplank. I'm ready to go.
She has an open mind.
I have an easily malleable, influenceable mind, but anyway.
But don't you love it?
You
I
will
do.
like this whiskey.
I do. I love it. I love it.
Well, this is all fun and games until we get to the whiskeys, and then it's funner and
Then it's
gooder.
more fun. Yeah. Yes.
So let's go with our first whiskey. This is Cooper's Choice. It is an independent bottler. They have a bottle or a cask from Royal Brackla. Royal Brackla finishes all of their whiskey in sherry casks, first fill sherry casks. These guys chose not to. They, in fact, finished this one in Marsala wine cask, which is kind of unusual. So this won't be your standard kind of Royal Brackla, but I don't know. Let's try it out.
Okay, before I start, I want to drink it the right way. So I took a sip of water.
Okay.
Is that recommended?
Sure, why not?
Can if you want to.
Or should I just be parched and dry and be completely...
Just fill your mouth with dust.
And this is not like the right way, but it's what we do. Like, you took the coaster off. We usually leave it on until right before we smell it.
Okay,
That way we get a good snoot full of whatever the smell is. But
like
it's
that.
not like you didn't ruin anything.
Right.
Like
And when you're smelling it, start away from your nose, because if you get your nose right in there, you might just overwhelm it with alcohol and you burn out your receptors and you can't really smell anything. So just kind of find out where that point is that you can smell it, but without burning yourself.
Yeah, we're gonna stick our noses in there, but that's because we've already destroyed everything.
There's no,
Yeah.
there's no.
What is the ABV of this this guy?
This sucker is 46%. So
Nice piece of tart.
well, strength. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and it changes as you get closer. See, I'm learning already. I'm learning so much. I knew I would, but and can you go into a little bit about what the EBV is?
The ABV.
Alcohol by volume, right?
Yeah.
It's just how much booze is in there.
Wait,
in the booze.
ABV?
Alcohol.
ABV.
Oh, okay.
Alcohol.
It's like proof, although proof is a different number.
Yes, it's double it, kind
Right.
of, sort of.
ABV
mostly.
is accurate, more accurate, right?
It's more scientific. I mean, proof was just basically would it explode? Yeah.
Okay.
In the chat, we're going crazy because that's not what proof is.
Are they? I don't see anyone.
No.
Oh, you were just making that up. You're like, oh, the chat's blowing up.
Oh, you better get your chat in now.
Whoa, we're
I
trying to
know.
follow it, but the scroll is just
God.
passing
I
by.
know people are at home like, oh, they're idiots. Just let them go. I want to say yes, whatever.
Okay,
I do really like this.
So
This is very nice.
what descriptors would you guys use for this? I mean,
What
to me,
would
I'm
you
like,
use?
Yeah.
Smells
do you-
like whiskey.
It's up there.
Yeah, this is Scorch.
I'm gonna get it out of the. I know that Thaddeus. I'm sorry, I've ruined your whiskey
No smokiness at all.
No, you wouldn't find much smokiness in it at all.
Okay, no smokiness at all. I got that right.
This is a Highland whiskey,
Okay.
Which tend to be kind of more sweeter and grassy and floral, maybe.
I was gonna say, even though you had already mentioned the Marsala casks, which Marsala is a very sweet wine, right? I was gonna say it even smells sweet, but let's see how it tastes.
And it's probably some element of that that's kind of coming through.
Okay.
What is that? It's like it's a red stone fruit, I think.
Yeah, it's like to me, it's like plums roasted over, like in almost like being just about to turn into jam. Like, yeah, like this is like a marmalade made out of plums, is what it smells like to me.
And before you taste it, I think there's something you should know is that I fucking love whiskey.
Better get used to that.
Okay, gotcha. Is that going to be a recurring theme?
Yeah, it's the name of the show.
Yeah. I would say honey. Not that I call Joseph honey. I'm just saying.
All right, you guys,
we've known each other long enough. It's okay.
It's got a little bit of honey notes to me. Is what I'm smelling.
I think so.
Could be.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because I was trying to think of like what sugar. I was thinking it's not like caramel, it's not maple syrup, it's not brown sugar, but I think that's it. It's like it is plum marmalade. I've had hardly anything. Plum marmalade made with honey. I think it's sweetened with honey.
Because there's no burnt smell to it, right? There's no smokiness, so there's no.
Oh, Andrew tasted it.
I tasted it, and first note on the taste for me was honey. This is like drinking, that you've just taken some tea, dip the honey in it, and it's all very syrupy and drippy.
Oh yeah. Wow. Oh wow. It's so much sweeter in the taste than it is on the nose.
I'm getting something.
Yep.
I'm pinching my nose. Is that normal?
Whatever works.
To keep the smell in.
Yeah.
I lost it.
That's interesting. I like that. I'm gonna try that. No, it does kind of recircle it in the palate. I feel like I'm always learning stuff. I like that.
Go ahead and interrupt us if you've got a note, because you're the guest. You're more important than us.
No, I wanted, because I was thinking, although again I'm influenceable, so I want to hear your notes, but I'm afraid if I hear yours, I'm going to veer that way. So I had something strong.
Yeah, for me, it's always interesting if it's something really personal. Like that always is the most interesting note. If it's like it reminds you of a specific event in your life or a place you visited. That to me is really interesting.
Oh my gosh. Okay. It's almost like eating rice pudding or something, because I feel like there's a dairy. It has like a dairy taste. Is that totally nuts? Am I totally
Nothing is nuts. Whatever it makes you like, whatever you associate with, and I think that's right.
Right. Yeah. Again, you might be nuts, but you might be right as well.
I don't taste nuts, but
I'm not getting any nuts in here, Wanru. I don't.
But I think because of the milkiness, this is not the right word. I think I'm like, this is rice pudding because of the vanilla and the dairy combined.
Yeah, I can see that.
A cow stood close to the cask and sort of
all
right,
and chewed on some.
There is like a rich milky quality to it. Like it reminds me of like mead, like or where they have like mead with milk in it, like because didn't they used to mix mead with milk? Wasn't that a particular drink like in medieval times? I feel like
they're correcting us in the chat. It's
milk and honey, milk and honey, right? Milk and honey.
I mean, they would give that to kids, right, to make them go to sleep, right? Malnourishment
and a little bit of mead.
A little
bit of mead.
But that's how you start them off with on the mead, is you put the milk and the honey.
I see.
Look at Bowie. He looks like he's in timeout.
Facing the wall.
He's just like, whatever, man.
This is Joseph's cat.
Don't pay attention to me. Don't look at me.
We're shooting this at my place. That's why. If there's any technical issues, it's because we set this up for the first time.
And this is a little section from the Berlin Wall.
Yeah. I had it shipped over.
Oh, you know what? I might go on a limb and say this is my favorite whiskey.
I mean, I could go there with you with that.
I'm really.
It's a bold start, and knowing where we're going, I'm very excited about today's show because this is really good.
It's a great kickoff.
I like it. I've only had one sip so far. None of us have scienced it.
No.
Okay.
We have not scienced it yet.
How do you science it?
Tipsy Asparagus is confirming.
Put a drop of water in, but we're gonna do that in a second.
Okay. Wait. So I said rice pudding with no cinnamon, just with vanilla and sugar.
Yep.
What would you guys say? How would you describe it? Experts.
We're not.
Right.
We're just enthusiasts.
Enthusiastically expert.
Well, like I said, I think mead for me it does remind me of mead, but I don't really like mead, but this I like. If it was mead that I liked, that's what it would taste like. And if I was going to build a house in here, I like to build a house in my whiskey. It would be a little cottage with a little old lady inside, probably making jam or preserves.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Picture perfect.
Maybe a pie or a tart.
For me, this is my mother's mother, my grandmother's house, and she's in the kitchen, and it's breakfast time, and she's spreading kind of jam and marmalade and honey on toast. And
oh, you know what else I would say?
Hi, whiskey enthusiast.
What is it? It's what's it called? It's not
Scone.
Oh, sure, scone or scone. But I was thinking of like a type of jam. I can't. Right. It tastes like cherry. Blackcurrant. This kind of reminds me of blackcurrant. I guess it's blackcurrant, not blackcurrant. It's blackcurrant.
Blackcurrant. It does have that dark berry flavor in the finish for me. Like that is. It's a really purpley taste in the finish.
Yeah, because blackcurrants remind me of cherry, but they're like a better version of cherry, like a darker, richer version of cherry, and that's kind of what this reminds me of as well.
I don't like cherry. I like blackcurrant.
Yeah, I like both. I'm gonna science this.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
I drank all of my. Oops.
You can put a little more in. We have more.
You know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We got a journey ahead of us.
It's fine if you drank it all. Like that's.
I'll science it too.
Yeah, I want to hear what you guys say.
All right.
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
I don't know. I feel like it's harder to like access now.
I agree. This is what always drives me crazy. Is the water should open it up more, and often I find it kind of.
You often find it dampens.
It dampens it, which is completely unintuitive.
I'm just gonna put a little dribble of water in my empty glass and then just drink that.
Yeah, collect the remnants of the whiskey. That's smart. That's smart.
I kind of like it. For me, it gets more tart. Like there's more of that. Like it's a very tart. It's more of that blackcurrant, more of that cherry, less plum, no mead in there. It becomes very tart, almost citrusy.
Yep.
You know, like there's a little bit of zest, like lemon or orange zest in there.
Yeah.
That water chased the sweetness.
So interesting.
It's gone.
As well as the creaminess is gone as well.
Yeah.
And you get a little bit more of the acrid. For me, it's a little more bitter. That's kind of good. It's kind of like it's kind of self-cleansing, right? So you have the pungency in the beginning, and then now you're like, now it's kind of cleaning itself. It's got that like a little bit more harsher finish, which is fine. Now you're ready for the sip again.
I would try this again with water, just because it was such an interesting, different taste.
I found it much drier in the finish with water.
Yeah,
like it just kind of went. Thaddeus, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, let's go to Thad.
I'm gonna go against the grain with y'all. I don't like it with water.
Of course.
I know, shocker there, real big shocker. For me, on the nose, I got cinnamon, turpentine, and sage, right off the top.
Sage, yeah.
And then like behind there was black licorice, the candy, black licorice. On the taste for me, I really liked it without water. It reminded me of like soft yellow cakes and something like that, and just adding the water made it too abrasive for me. And like I got like notes of like sour wood or like licorice on that with the water. And then the finish, I actually enjoyed it, but both ways. I enjoy it both ways. And this is gonna sound weird, but I like it because it tastes like decayed wood. Like earthy, but like a good decaying earthy.
I get that, and the thing I most strongly agree with you is like the finish remained pretty consistent between the two.
Anyways, I like the decayed wood note.
What a lovely start to our journey today.
That was fantastic.
Let's move on to step 2, and this is an Ardbeg from Islay. This is a committee release.
So I would say, if I'm having a meal, let's say this is a meal, okay?
Okay.
That was like eating a King's Hawaiian roll. That's kind of like a the starter, you know, like a bready type thing. I'm getting the bread. So let's see what this is.
Okay.
In the meal.
I'm going to guess this is the oven the bread was baked in. That's just my upfront thing. This is ex-bourbon barrels. They're heavily charred ex-bourbon barrels.
Nice.
Which is why the Scorch name for this release. And it was kind of in honor of the Islay dragon, which I had never heard of a priori.
Oh, I didn't. I just heard of it just now.
Yeah.
There's a dragon on Islay?
I don't know.
I mean, that makes sense.
I mean, that's where the peat comes from, I guess.
In Scotland. This is,
the chat's correcting us again.
Oh.
No, you're not saying anything.
Hey, whiskey enthusiasts. So this is going to be Oh. That missed him, right?
Yeah, missed him.
All right.
A little chair, a folding chair kind of fell over, almost hitting the cat because the cat was trying to open a door. That's awesome.
But he was very agile, right?
Yeah, very agile. He got out of there. He's coming back to investigate now. What the heck was that?
Sorry you missed it. It was very
The other cat sat on the sofa the whole time looking at the back of the sofa, completely undisturbed. Didn't bother her at all.
I should have realized they like to get into the closet, and if I leave the door closed, they get anyway. This is not I fucking love cats, although I do. Fucking love cats.
Oh, you know what? Actually, on the whiskey cam, they may have seen some of it.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Did you guys see it on the whiskey cam? Well, we'll have to wait. Hey, Corey.
Oh yeah, you can see them.
Hey, Corey. This is a committee release. Yeah. So every year they come up with a very special release, limited number of bottles, high octane. This is released at 51.7%.
Oh wow.
And
so previous was like 46. This is 51, right?
Yeah. So we're going up another
Up
5
notch. We always go up, always up.
Oh.
Ever upwards.
Never down.
And
Never
I'm
downwards.
interested to find what you see in the nose.
Okay.
Or hear what you smell in the nose.
Yeah. I want to smell what you hear in the nose. If I could see that.
Good observation.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at Andrew's reaction.
Favorite
This is for sure my favorite whiskey.
Okay, this is an army latrine in a good way. In a good way. Like you're on the battlefield.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you're walking off, right? The battlefield. And you're like relieved because you can smell the latrines. It means you're no longer in enemy territory.
Yeah.
Do you like that? Do you like that? Okay.
I like that. That's
no one uses the latrine in enemy territory.
True.
Yeah, for me, once again, it's like that sort of like that. This has that, it's like a children's pool that's just pulled. You just open the box, that rubbery, and it hasn't been inflated yet.
I heard you use that before.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
That
a lot of
term.
stuff from Islay has that sort of quality to it.
Is it plasticky? Is that what you mean by that when you just talk about a swimming pool?
plasticky, rubbery, maybe just like that very fresh, unwrapped plastic pool.
Mm-hmm. There's this
Fennel.
Chinese medicine. I have to look it up. It sounds weird. It's a bunch of little black balls that look like BB gun pellets.
Okay.
Okay, and they come in a small little tube. And if you grew up in Asia, I grew up in Taiwan. If you have stomach ache, they would make you take this whole canister of these like BB ball. This smells exactly like that.
Wow,
I
that's
wonder what's in
interesting.
there.
I really want to know what those are now.
So that slightly medicinal.
I
type
kind of want to know.
It
Well,
is kind of medicinal.
the fennels from here are used in a lot of medicinal purposes, which is why you get a lot of illusions of band-aids and hospitals and medicine when you smell something from the kind of iodine-rich peat.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's also like a little bit of that smoky quality, There's like you get like a bit of a campfire, but one that's been, I feel like one that's been out for a while, like it's like a burnt out campfire.
There's a nice roundedness to the peat smokiness in this, as opposed to like a traditional Ardbeg, I find.
It's really good. I just love the nose.
So I wanted to ask you guys. I've been dying to ask you guys. So why the purpose of the peat? You've always heard about like peat of whiskeys and not peat. Why? Like who thought of this? Like who was the guy who was like, well, I gotta burn the peat.
It's kind of exactly that. Is that
gotta
on
burn peat.
Islay,
Yeah.
there's no trees,
Yeah.
or there were so few trees, there was no way you could make a wood for your fire to dry the barley to be able to, stop it from germinating.
Oh.
But the ground, you dry it out and it'll burn. It burns with a lot of the smoke coming off, but it burns.
Yeah.
And that's how they dried their barley. And so
It is pre-oil. It hasn't turned into coal or oil yet.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
peat.
wow.
Yeah.
and
All
so
that organic matter, like from a swamp, all compacted down. not quite anywhere where it's oil, but you know. That's how
And so that coats the barley kernels, and when they grind it up and malt it, that the fennel remains, and you get that kind of smoky quality. And eventually, maybe some people more rapidly than others, people started to really
acquire that taste.
yeah, acquire it. Yeah.
Mhm.
And for me, it was the first whiskey I ever had that was peated. It was like I was just in another world. I was like immediately like, I don't know how liquid tastes like that, but I have to have more.
Yeah.
So
That's the same.
you took to it right away.
Oh.
You took to it right away.
Lafroig was the first one I had, which no one is like starts off with Lafroig and was like, this is what I want. But for as soon as I tasted it, I was like, I want more of this as much as I could get my hands on. I guess we have to taste this.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, we got to go into this.
Any
This
more notes? Okay, we'll go on then.
No, if you got more.
Oh, no, that's it. I had the latrine and that was it.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's not subtle.
Oh,
That's not subtle at all, and I'm glad that it's not. I could not. There's like this taste. I could have as much of it as possible. I don't know. I really like.
I get the Band-Aid note right now. I know exactly what you mean. Maybe, you know what? The funny thing is the Band-Aid mixes the plastic and the medicine,
Right.
right? So the Band-Aid is perfect, Andrew, because it's like, I smell plastic, I smell medicine, boom, Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Right?
I just want to point
It's
out,
like
I'm
you
not the
got your-
first to say that.
You got your medicine in my plastic. You got your plastic in my medicine. Wait a minute.
Genius.
It's two great tastes that taste great together.
But in the best way, by the way, when I say these things, when you guys say it too, it's like in the best way. Like it's
Yes.
not like licking a Band-Aid. It's just got that kind of
Yeah.
note to it or whatever you would say.
What are we doing? Is he over there?
Oh, he's in the bathroom.
But there's something else too.
There's dragon breath in this.
What kind of a container? That is not the correct word. What kind of container?
Cask.
Cask. Is it marinated?
It's an ex-bourbon marinated cask.
Oh yes. Okay, because I was gonna say it's just slightly sweet, sweet.
Yeah.
It's going to get a little bit of that corn influence from the barrel.
Okay. Gotcha.
Sweeten it, give it the vanilla notes, but also the oak gives it vanilla notes as well.
Yeah, but there's like not a lot of vanilla notes in this. Like they're in
No,
there, but
no.
they're like
They're really tamped down. This is first and foremost dragon breath.
Yeah.
I remember that time I slayed a dragon, and this is what it smelled
It's
like.
interesting because like Ugadal is like this makes it Ugadal seem sweet. You know,
Oh,
it
yeah.
doesn't seem like a sugary, but I would
Oh,
never necessarily say that about Ugadal. You know, Ugadal's another release by Ardbeg. So
You never say it to his face, "Oh, good, you don't have a bottle of it."
I don't have it. I drank it all. Yeah, it is really good.
Did you share where the first bottle was from? Like where it was produced?
The first one was in Highlands,
Okay. And this one.
and this one is on Islay, which is a little tiny island off the coast of Scotland.
Okay. And they're both Scotches, right? They're both
Yes.
from Scotland.
I
Okay.
think everything we're
We're
drinking
learning.
is Scotch except for the third one,
Except for
right?
the third one.
Right.
Ooh,
They're all
okay.
whiskeys.
Yeah.
Which we fucking love, especially me.
Really?
I fucking love whiskey.
I think probably more.
Do you, Joseph?
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joseph's much taller than me, but yet somehow I'm in this high chair. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, and I'm 6'4".
You're
What's
like,
up with that,
What?
Joseph?
there's like a thing I can.
Oh my gosh.
I could just sit in the nose.
Oh,
And also,
my
this is
goodness.
another one. Like it's really good.
Mm.
I don't want to science it because yeah, I don't, because sometimes like a whiskey is so good you don't want to put water in it. You know,
Why do you call it science it when you put a drop
because
of
we
water?
use an eyedropper.
I
That's that's it. It's
thought
like,
there was like some real technical whiskey reason you're calling it science it. SC
What?
like suboral.
Wanru, this show's all made up. It's all made up.
Yeah.
It's just an excuse for us to drink whiskey with cool people. That's all it is.
Gotcha. So
Speaking of
literally,
cool people, someone's saying hi to you here, Sean BH.
Shannon. I think it's my friend
Oh,
Shannon.
Shannon. Is that the Shannon we both know?
I don't know.
Oh,
She's a little girl who does aerial silks. Is that the Shannon you know?
no, I was thinking of Shannon from Cold Tofu.
Oh yes.
But that's not a little girl who does silk.
You know what? That could be Shannon. Anyways, regardless, hi either Shannon from Cold Tofu or
Yeah.
Shannon Aerial Silks.
Or Shanba.
Yes,
We don't know.
yes, it's true. By the way, I think it is my friend Shannon Huang because it says Shan BH. So her mother was obsessed with Ireland. and she named her Shannon because Shannon's like actually an Irish name.
Oh, it's a beautiful name.
You know what? Is it normal that as you continue to drink these peaty whiskeys, like the smokiness starts to, you don't taste it anymore?
Yeah, it goes away and you start to get some other flavors underneath it all. Yeah, that's one of the surprising things about the peat.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing we're getting acclimatized to it now.
Okay, so what part of our meal? I said the first one is like a biscuit, or no, actually a King's Hawaiian roll. What would this be?
I mean, I do feel like this is a main course or a prelude to a main course because it does have that sense of like smoked meat or like a roast. You know what I mean? Like a pot roast. To me, this because it's so deep and rich. Yeah, that's something I would say this tastes like. Even like it tastes like a pot roast or like a beef bourguignon or something with like that's been braised, but really caramelized before it was braised.
I would say I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Bacon wrapped dates.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
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 For sure. Yeah.
Bacon wrapped dates.
I'll agree.
Nailed
It's
it.
a little bit sweet, but mostly savory. That's what's the smokiness of the bacon. So that would be the comparable food. Am I getting hungry or something? Why do I keep talking?
Yeah.
No. Hey, this is.
It does have a really nice finish too. Like it just kind of lasts for a while. Like it never goes away. All right, I'm gonna science it just because I feel like I have to.
Okay.
But don't feel like you have to. Andrew's.
I do. I got a whole bottle there.
I think that's.
Is this your favorite whiskey now?
Oh, for
It is
sure.
my favorite
Yeah.
whiskey,
Right now, it's
absolutely.
my favorite whiskey. You want to try this?
Sure. Yes. I saved a little. I didn't drink it all like a.
Oh,
Well, that's interesting.
the nose got bigger.
Oh, there's a link for Corey's GoFundMe. Please, give some money to that. Our friend Corey Wazinski's in the chat here.
And Shannon agreed that she's the small Ariel.
I'm the small aerial girl. I love that.
yeah.
That's what she said. I'm the small aerial girl. Like she could have wings. We don't know.
Yeah.
Based on that sentence.
Could be a fairy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining and acknowledging your smallness and your love of Ariel.
Oh my
I don't know.
goodness.
It's more smoky to me.
It didn't.
Yeah.
The smell didn't taste too much. It is for me. It was dampened. You said it was stronger, right?
This for me is stronger than before the water.
I wouldn't say it's stronger, but there's more smoke in it. I think. Like to me, it's like it changed the quality of it. So it's more, it's just more of that campfire and less of the pool noodles, not pool noodles, the rubber pool, inflatable pool.
Yeah. Pool noodles is a completely
It's a different smell.
different smell.
I'm almost getting chlorine in this now.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I could say that.
Crazy in a good way, of course.
Clean finish. It's much cleaner. I felt like the last one we drank, I could taste it was more acrid. I keep using that word, but it's just like a harsher taste.
Yeah.
This one's smooth. It just
It
like
smooths it out a bit.
It really smooths, yeah.
Interesting.
It really
smooths it out.
It smooths it out, but it's still in the taste. I feel like there's still that smokiness. Ooh, there's a weird finish though too. I think like almost something I'm not a huge fan of with the water.
Not metal, but
it does taste like rust. Actually, I would say it tastes like rust
maybe
or
rust. I would go with something different though.
or like a fungus, or it's funky taste. It's a funky
Interesting.
organic taste I don't like.
that you're not a fan of.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's turn to the expert, Thaddeus.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, and if I tell you to science something, don't this time, because I would have said don't science this. Because for me, the water just killed the nose for me. It didn't open it up. The one thing it did do for me, I will say, is that it made the finish a lot more accessible with the water. Like it made it hold for me so much longer, and it introduced some faint green notes. More along the line of green vegetables, more so than green wood. But without water, I loved it. For me, it was a raging campfire on the nose, like in a diesel boat, like going across the ocean into a storm type of deal. It's a salty air, and then like a very, very slight hint of sweet corn. And then on the taste, for me, like right off the bat, it's just like biting into like a sweet rubber tire. And then
this smells, after your description, this smells and tastes for me like what the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland smells and tastes like.
see, there you go.
Especially, do you remember they used to fire off those fake shots? Like,
Yeah.
here's the
It's all
hippopotamus.
part of it. Like there's the gunpowder, there's the diesel engine, there's the, the greens, the weird funky chlorine in the water, all of it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, and there's
yeah.
the corny acting.
Yeah, it's all in there. It's all in there. And I mean, yeah. Anything else that?
And then like as I kept on coming back to it, definitely reminded me of used motor oil.
Ooh.
Both in taste and smell. And if you've ever gotten used motor oil in your mouth, it's interesting.
I run by a Jiffy Lube almost every morning when I go to the gym, and I know that smell. I know that.
Yeah, but have you ever gotten it in your mouth?
I
It's because
I do lick the pavement there every day.
Because there is no segue. It seems like I go by and use Jiffy Lube every day and just take a drop of used oil just before my workout to inspire me. Like
I can smell the taste of it. Smell is using.
I mean, Thad was talking about I literally tasting it though, having it.
Why would Thad have tasted that though?
I don't know. That's a question. I mean, I'm sure it was an accident.
Because I changed my own oil in my car instead of taking it somewhere to
Using
get
your
it.
mouth.
I mean, stuff happens, man. Like if you're just sitting underneath and you can't really see what you're doing, like you're just working blind because everything's so compact. Sometimes a drip might just drip in your face.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And by the way,
That all makes sense.
I think the smell of something and the taste of something, just like we're experiencing right now, is two different experiences. So yeah, you say you smell oil, use motor oil, but Thaddeus, I would trust your judgment more. Because you taste it's been.
Really
I thought you were
tasted
going to back me up on that, and then it just totally went awry. Wow.
Wanru isn't here to back you up. She's here to represent her own opinion.
Yes, I'm here to represent the truth and science. And science.
Science.
Okay, speaking of science,
Yes.
so why is it, again, I'm asking all these questions, which is, I'm learning along with everybody. So why is it that when you add the water, it tastes different, it smells different, it might even have different, like, what is that called? Aftertaste.
Finish, yeah.
Yeah, finish.
Basically, it's pushing the alcohol molecules apart. So a lot of them are kind of clustered around the flavor molecules. That's accurate. Dispute me, chat. And it pushes them away so you can actually access some of the original spirit that went into the cask.
Wow.
I mean, one of the things I think about is like how complicated protein molecules are and why there's all these interesting flavors in whiskey, and if you even think about just like the peat, and not all whiskey has peat, but still like, you think about the peat, which is all these different organic things that have been compressed together. You think about the oak, which is like this complicated organic molecule. And then, you have the
Andrew Quitters.
The whiskey and the wood.
Well, there's the bourbon.
bourbon.
There's the bourbon, which is like corn and
like
corn and barley, and then there's like the barley that they use. It's like all of these. I don't know. It's just, and then like the aging of it, like it creates this thing. So like a drop of water, yeah, it is kind of science. It's like it changes that composition. Yeah.
I mean, something
Good question.
I did learn in my chemistry class is there's different solubility of different chemicals. Like they use this how should I say, this characteristic of chemicals in all kinds of testing, all kinds of drug testing, all kinds of pharmaceutical testing. But yeah, there's different solubilities. So there's things that go in the air and water, and there's things that go in the air in alcohol. So and all these things. So yeah, the chemicals, like you said, are going into their preferred sort of liquid. Like some of these flavor molecules might be like, I like water, I want to go in the water. And then some are like, I want to stay in the alcohol. Is this scientific? Does it sound legit?
I think it's a better answer to your question than we gave you.
Absolutely.
Like I feel like I learned something, which is why we have guests on the show, honestly.
But this is in chemistry class. You could literally, we've seen it where you take a liquid, you pour ethanol, so pure alcohol, and you shake it, and you see that some of the color goes into the alcohol layer, and some of the color stays in the aqueous layer.
Do some of the particulate substrate and particulate?
They can.
We should continue this conversation while having our third.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, so here's a little
This
treat.
is interesting.
We're leaving Scotland now and going to India. India, I tell you.
And by the way, I love Thaddeus's notes about our current meal. So we have a great meal so far.
Yeah. Hawaiian rolls, bacon wrapped steak.
Days.
Yeah.
These are all from me, by the way. So you guys don't have to agree with this.
I think we did.
Okay.
I agree with it. Yeah. So this is Paul John, which is an Indian whiskey, and Indian whiskey is
I wanna look at the
terrifically
bottle. I know it's over
hard
there,
to
but-
make. It's because they have there's the angel share. So every year, as the whiskey expands and contracts as it gets hotter and gets cooler,
Yeah.
in Scotland they lose like 3 to 5% of the cask every year. In India, I think it's something like 13 to 20% of the cask. It's not 20% of the cask, but it's something around 13 to 15%. A lot of whiskey just gets lost every year
Because of the heat.
because of the heat.
Mm.
So it tends to make it a denser liquid. It tends to be lower alcohol by the time it comes out of the cask.
Mhm.
It's
And-
lower alcohol. Yes, because the alcohol.
Because the alcohol is
right.
also evaporating with the.
Well, wait, what's the percentage of this then?
But this one is still 54.7%. So
Right.
it managed to maintain.
But is this cask strength? Has it been mixed with water? What do we know about it?
We don't know a lot. The Boutiquey Whiskey Company is actually kind of a little bit tight with their information. I'm going to take it
Was
away
it
from your
in, was
whiskey
it
can.
in bourbon barrels?
It says age 6 years, bottle 5 of 28. Which, if this is batch
5
4,
of 28. That's not many bottles.
that is not many bottles.
This is pretty rare.
And this is a small 375 milliliters, so it's half size. But yeah, they don't give you an awful lot of information beyond that. They're kind of, I don't know if they're banned by secrecy or.
Well, I mean,
just don't take
yeah,
notes.
I don't know.
I think that you have some comments.
Oh yes.
You have some comments.
Oh yes. Oh well. Yes. A while ago, Brackla was saying that Thaddeus's notes were like poetry, and she's here for that,
Yeah.
not for us. Got it. Fine.
And Tipsy Asparagus, yes, thank you. Friends are here to tell you the truth.
Right.
Yes.
That's what it's for. Well, I'm excited about this.
I'm kind of
This is
excited about this
interesting,
too.
yeah. Oh wow! This smells like a. It smells like a Speyside to me.
What?
A Speyside.
Yeah. It's
Like it smells like something. Like Speyside is like it's within the Highlands. There's like the Speyside. It's near the Spey River. It's kind of their area. But this kind of fruity, sweet sort of candy store.
floral, but with some nice
Smell.
funk behind it.
I wonder if this was done in sherry casks. I guess we don't know, but I would guess this was from some. The casks had some sort of liqueur in them. I would guess. That'd be my guess.
Some sort of
Liqueur, or
liquor, as we call it here in North America.
isn't sherry a liqueur?
Well, we just say liquor, right? Or do we say liqueur?
I don't know. The chat will find out for us because the chat's also already found out that I was wrong. Scotland's 2% angel share, and India's like 12%. So I at least got the 12% close.
Or is a liqueur something that's infused?
So, I think Thaddeus might have said turpentine. This is the first time I'm getting a turpentine. Like it's more pungent.
Yeah, there's that funkiness, that kind of like sour, but it's a good sour.
To me, this smells like a whole palette of paints, like greasy paints that
Yes.
are like, with the turpentine on the side. It's like oil paints, that's what it smells like.
Yeah.
This is Bob Ross's living room
Yeah,
where
but
he filmed his show.
but if his paints actually kind of a bit smelled like they're almost like scratch and sniff paints, like the red kind of smelled like roses, the plums smelled like plums, or et cetera and so forth.
Well, kind of, yeah, the artificial scratch and sniff kind of version of these flavors. Yes.
It's like a combination of the fruit and that sort of like paint smell.
I can speak for the whiskey, Corey. It misses you too.
And I'm getting the sourness that you spoke of, but mostly that garage where you open maybe the shed where all the old paint was stored,
Yeah.
with maybe the lawnmower and the other turpentine, or,
greasy rags,
And maybe there's some like stuff being pickled in there. I smell like a bit of vinegar, like maybe a purple vinegar.
yeah, there's that sharpness. Yeah,
Like more like a kimchi than a sauerkraut. You know what I mean? Like it's got kind of that like kind of a sweetness to it.
I do get a sort of wood stain taste, again, that's a lot of turpentine, but by the way, it's the same stuff, but sort of just paint thinner, more specific than paint thinner.
Yeah.
I'm getting paint thinner.
We're tasting it. You're sipping it.
I'm going in.
Okay.
Let's taste it.
Here we go.
Oh boy. This is my favorite whiskey.
This is my favorite whiskey.
That's so interesting.
That is.
It's got all the things that I like in whiskey, but also it's like coming from a different direction entirely.
Mhm. This does not how I expect it to taste from the smell.
Yeah.
No.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
This is different than
There's like a buttery lozenge in the middle of it, like a lozenge candy.
It's like a lozenge that's been dipped in butter. It's like if you took a cough drop and you like warmed it up and you dipped it in some warm butter and then you put it in your mouth.
Oh.
But not like a cough drop, like one that's like a cherry Halls or has like some sweetness to it, you know, like
maybe a liquid center as well.
Yeah. It's kind of sour sweetness to it. There's like a really sour sweetness here.
My first impression was it was like whiskey, but whiskey reduction. Like it's just whiskey concentrated, and I guess 12% angel share.
It kind of tastes like sweet and sour to me.
I'm getting now that I'm drinking it, I'm getting a little bit of that pie taste again. Whatever that pastry taste, but more sour. So we'll call this cherry pie.
I was just gonna say like cherry pie. Yeah.
Cherry pie. Right?
Yeah, it's like more the inside, but there's a bit of the crust there as well. But yeah, it definitely tastes like cherry pie. Well, cherries are sweet and sour. Like they have those two, it's one of the things about cherries. They have those two flavors.
True. Or maybe like a mincemeat pie. I can't.
Doesn't actually have meat in it. Surprise to everybody, I know.
What's in a mincemeat pie? It's like most nuts.
It's like nuts and fruit, right?
Yes. Okay, mincemeat pie it is then. I think that's more accurate because it's got a richer taste. Cherry is very like a one note, right? Mincemeat would have more variety of.
Yeah, there's definitely like some nutty stuff going on in here. And it has like a richer, savory, deeper quality to it.
Oh, Tipsy agrees. Mincemeat has no pie in it.
It's like chunky apple butter.
Chunky apple butter, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
yes.
I had heard something, and please chat stream participants.
Because they're very, very, very vocal.
They're very fact checker.
It's just like words passing by our screen. It's so fast. So many people saying stuff. We can't keep up with it.
Exactly. I've heard that because all Indian products, right, when they were shipped to the UK, because they're part of the, what do you call it?
Commonwealth.
Thank you, the Commonwealth. Yes, the transport would be so long that it would actually alter the flavor profile and whatever. And for example, the alcohol, it would just be more evaporated, more condensed. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah.
Is this part of the difference, or is it just storing it?
It's just storing it in India in the casks in the dunnage, and it just gets hotter there. And so, yes, more whiskey gets absorbed into the wood every year, but more of it evaporates as well. But this is super rich. Like I've had Indian whiskeys that aren't. Oh, this is just.
There's an interesting aftertaste in there that I can't quite put my finger on. It's like an ash or, I don't know, something dry, like dry branches.
Interesting. This one is more numbing on the back of the throat. I feel like this one numbs the back of the throat. Again, maybe there's something. We smelled medicinal thing right in the
right
front.
Before, yeah.
But now it's kind of. It tastes different. It's very drinkable, actually. I would say.
Oh, this is my favorite whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's once again, it's like I don't really want to science it, I kind of want to wait and see what Thad says about sciencing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Thaddeus has got a compulsion where he has to science.
He can't not science it.
He has to science it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought we agreed that if I tell you to science it, you don't science. And if I say don't science, you do science.
No, we never agreed to that.
No,
I don't think there's ever an agreement.
Oh,
you'll always science it, and we'd rather have you.
I haven't scienced it yet because I can't really. This one really intrigues me. I cannot pick out all the stuff that's coming to me for it. It's very like without science, like I definitely get that funk, but for me it's more like a Navy rum funk that you get on the nose.
Yeah.
And then there's some sweet cereal grains in there, and then like going past all that, like very very few hints of like grandma's oak chest that's full of like crocheted like blankets that have been stored there for decades, right? And then like even further past that, there's some spice, I cannot name it. It's adjacent to allspice, but I do not know what it is. And then as far as the taste for me so far, definitely cough drops of cherry.
Yeah.
And like butter waffles with like a light and not too heavy syrup.
What Glassy's saying is the spiced nutmeg.
No, it's not nutmeg because I was thinking about that too. It's I don't know. It's super strange. I've had it like once or twice in my life before. It's in that area.
Is it saffron?
Some spice.
I don't.
Some spice is not a spice.
I don't think I've
Baby
ever
spice?
had
Posh spice?
real saffron, to be honest.
You've never, because I bought some once at Trader Joe's, like you can buy it like the tiniest little bit of it.
Yeah.
And just to be like, I want to know what saffron kind of tastes and smells like. I don't think I ever used it in cooking. And I think it might be saffron. Like, that's not a smell that comes up very often. Saffron is still very expensive.
You know what? I got just right now. I got it. Prunes or raisins. So I think mincemeat is like a lot of soaked up dried food. It's like raisins, right, and
Mhm.
nuts. So I think that's what I'm getting with the mincemeat pie, which is it's like Thaddeus said, the spices with those dried fruits soaked in rum or liqueur, that type of taste.
It also kind of reminds me of jerk seasoning, which has allspice in it, but it's like a combination of seasonings.
I think whiskey enthusiast is on the right track here. This might be sporty spice.
Yeah. I think none of us should science it because
It's scary
Old Spice?
Old Spice.
I think
Maybe.
scary spice. This, scary spice is mocha. It's got the mocha skin tone, and this has, to me, it's got the mocha.
Okay.
It's a that would be the color family. What colors are you saying?
I could see some mocha. I could smell some mocha in this, like it, because now that you said that, like it smells kind of like a hot chocolate
It's
or like a
chocolate
mocha
adjacent. Yeah.
yeah, or like like hot buttered rum.
Oh, nice. So none of us are sciencing this, right?
We don't have to. Andrew's always got it. He owns the bottle, so.
Okay, I want to as well. I'm gonna have all the experiences.
Have all the experiences.
Okay.
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna wait and see what you guys say.
Okay.
Oh. You know that
Yeah, right.
that cedar closet or cedar chest, that is in the nose now.
Yeah, cedar.
But-
see there? There's cedar.
Mm.
This might be a cedar-lined pantry
Oh, interesting.
because all the spices that are in there.
It does seem like something that's freshly made from new cut wood.
Do you have a house picture in your mind, Joseph, for this one? You had that little cottage lady.
It is
behind.
this is a freshly built like wooden house, like maybe even a log cabin. It's freshly cut, just the nose. It's all like you walk into the house and it just was freshly built, and all the wood it hasn't been stained yet. It's all just like clean cut, and it's like somewhere in Oregon, I would say. This reminds me of Oregon. A lot of whiskeys remind me of Oregon, though.
There's a super nostalgic thing, and it always reminds me of my grandparents' little cottage on the Miramichi in Eastern Canada. Just this, it's shut up for half the year. Like the doors and windows are closed, and everything's put away in chests, and then you open it up, and it's got all that kind of
Ooh, camphor or mothballs.
yeah, maybe a bit. Yeah, I can see it. I think though, I fucking loved it without water. And
Yeah.
the water I don't think is
Like I like what it does to the nose. That there's only a little bit left for me, so it's hard to tell. But I don't think I really like what it did to the taste. It made it more almost medicinal, less sweet. Thad, what do you think with the water? Did you try it with water?
I did. I could take it or leave it. I'd probably do it again at a different point in time just to see what else came out. I definitely agree with you with the water. It's definitely more of a fresh woody smell. Cedar, oak, light woods, not heavy dark woods. The taste for me got more cereal-y, like more cereal grains for me, which I don't hate. And it got a lot more hot towards the end, like just fire-wise for me. It was just like kick you in the back of your throat at the end.
That's what I meant about the back of my throat being numb. Or is it because I've tasted 3 whiskey, technically 4.
It's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, it's interesting to me, like where sometimes whiskeys will hit you in your mouth or your nose. Like it'll change. Some of them will be like, oh, it hit me in the back of the throat. And some of them will be like, oh, it's like totally up front, you know, in the nose. So it's like, it is interesting that it activates different parts of your, you know, your nasal phalangeal area. It's a thing, science.
So I think when Thaddeus was saying cereal, I was tasting more of the crust of the mincemeat pie. Same thing, that sort of, that pastry taste. Oops. Boo-boo.
Yeah, when he said cereal, to me, it did very much remind me of like kids' cereals, like I ate when I was a kid, like, you know, Fruity Pebbles or like, you know.
Whole wheat Cheerios.
Yeah, or Captain Crunch.
This might be a Kix.
He's not a captain, he's a captain.
Captain Crunch.
So what is this amazing whiskey that you
have ladies and
now?
gentlemen, this is a whiskey that Whiskey Enthusiast, who's in the chat, and a couple other friends introduced me to. And I was like, oh, it smells kind of nice. And then I tasted it and I was like, I don't understand what's happening in my mouth. Like it was fantastic. This is the very first. So Brackla was resurrected as a distillery in the early 2000s, I think it was. It wasn't 90s. It was 2000s, I think. Anyway, so 5 years later, one of the very first things they put out is this Port Charlotte 5-year-old. It's in the spirit of something that's not at Brackla, but down the bay at Port Charlotte. It's a defunct silent distillery, and it was put out in that style. And we all saw here. Let me put this on the whiskey can. We all saw this cask bottle. What do you call that? It's a container around the bottle, and it's got Jim McEwen, and we'll show it here on the any moment now. Have I got it in the printer? There you go. All right, so it's got Jim McEwen sitting on these casks, and it's like, okay, I'm not going to buy this bottle. I have never heard of the Port Charlotte folks at all. I don't know who Jim McEwen is because I didn't know anything about Scotch at the time. Turns out it's my absolute favorite whiskey of all time. There's the bottle, Port Charlotte. You can get a lot of Port Charlotte now, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, Port Charlotte right now is like my favorite whiskey, like just in general. But I've never had the PC5.
And we're about to, and I'm excited to hear what you think. And if you go meh, you can give it back to me.
This is a lot to live up to, by the way.
It is. I really put you on the spot.
The bar is set really high. I realized that because we're like using my iPad as a camera, like if I just hold my thumb up, then it does a thumbs up. Like it just recognizes that I've done a thumb up.
What if we do this?
I mean, it probably does a thumb down. I don't know. Like I think if you raise your hand, it's like, oh, you have a question. I'll make it so that you're.
Claps? No.
I think it's just a thumb up. Anyway.
Fun with things that people can't see at home. There we go. Drum roll, please.
Man, so far I like what I'm smelling.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, give it back. Give it back.
Blue cheese.
Blue cheese?
Blue cheese.
Oh, I can. Oh.
You know, sometimes when you eat blue cheese, it has this, like it hits your nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has this pungent taste and smell, for lack of a better word. I get the blue cheese right now.
This has like, to me, like that nose is like that candy store quality, but with none of the sweetness. Like it's only the savory notes, but it's that same sort of like complicated, like it's like you're in a room filled with all these different sweets of different types, but this is like, it's like they haven't put sugar in them yet, but all of the amazing flavors and smells are still there.
Like pure flavor extracts.
Yeah, like you're in like, you know when you're a kid and you smell vanilla extract and you're
smelling
like,
the water, you guys.
You know?
This is really definitely we're getting
hey,
each
you
other.
gotta clear your palate.
Yeah,
You must smell my arm.
notes of water.
Oh yeah, it's like, and there's like smokiness in there too.
Oh wait, I've seen you do this. What do? You just smell your arm?
You smell your arm. Like if you don't have coffee beans, this is what professional tasters do.
Although I have coffee beans.
Okay, I'm gonna use your arm, Joseph. Oh wow, that really clears that work great.
Yeah,
That smells like peat.
I did take a shower before the show. So.
Oh my
Wow.
God, this is
It's
gonna.
funky.
This won't surprise anyone, but this is my favorite whiskey.
Yeah, no, but I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say that too. I haven't tasted it yet, but every whiskey today has been my favorite whiskey.
Like but in the nose here, I just get like
amazing
regular Port Charlotte, maybe a little bit, nicer than most Port Charlotte. It's a good nose. It's an amazing nose.
Okay, where is this whiskey from?
This is from Islay as well, so it's on the kind of more northern side of the island from the Ardbeg distillery.
Gotcha. Interesting. So this is the first time I've smelled that funkiness that everyone's talking about. So this to me is really funky. Yeah.
That is really amazing. Have you ever scienced this?
Fuck off. I don't believe I ever have.
Thad's gonna.
Thad gave me some of his PC5. Thad is entitled to do that. Or I think it was Thad. Maybe it was.
What's the ABV on this?
This is 63.5.
What?
It's a bit of a jump.
I would not even think that, though.
It's 5 years old. That's it.
That is so complicated for like a 5-year-old whiskey.
Is that young for whiskey?
That's pretty young, yeah.
Okay.
Like you can make it whiskey at 3 years in a day, but most people won't do that because it hasn't had enough time to have interaction with the oak yet.
So 5, does that mean that's the youngest cask in there, or does that mean
Yes.
that this is so there's probably other stuff in here that's older.
There could absolutely be, because they had a whole bunch of stock from the old Brackla. But this is peated, and the old Brackla stuff is not
taste
peated.
this. I can't not taste this.
Wait, this is peated?
Oh yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't get the strong smokiness.
It's not the same peat from Islay. This is peat that is from Inverness area, which has a lot more kind of
oh my God.
bushes and heather and.
Oh my God.
Joseph's happy.
Oh my God. This is my favorite of favoritist whiskeys.
This is what happens.
Oh my God. This tastes like, what this tastes like? It's like if an Ardbeg and a Port Charlotte had a child, and that child inherited all of the best qualities of both of them.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Because at first I was like, this tastes like an Ardbeg when I tasted it. And then it was like, but don't forget, I'm a Port Charlotte. And I was like, you're both. I love you.
Okay, so you were saying, Andrew, you said it's a different type of peat. It's not as smoky. It's
not
milder.
as much iodine. It's not from like peat on Islay has a lot of. Oh fuck, I love this. Has a lot of iodine in it from the seaweed and whatnot, and the sea life that has been part of that peat development.
Makes sense, yeah.
Whereas around Inverness it's more kind of like grasses and shrubbery and stuff. That's the kind of plant life that's been dyed and compressed into peat.
Yep.
And so it's a lighter, less campfirey kind of smoke that you get out of it. There's still kind of smoke in there. Oh my God. If you people have not tasted a PC5, find somebody that has it and tried this.
I don't ever want to drink another whiskey.
Wow.
This isn't my tasting note right now. This is the tasting note that I first had when I first had this. It was, a lot of whiskeys have like a flavor note that goes like in 1 or 2 or maybe 3 directions. This went off in 9 flavor directions in my mouth instantly.
This is like a clearing in the most primeval of forests, a clearing in the middle, the heart of that forest where no one has ever been. And you're the only human being who's stepped into it, like in 1,000 years. You step into that clearing, and it has just rained, and there's majestic trees, and there's, maybe a deer nearby, and it's like you, and for a moment, you're like the only person on this planet. There's no one else on Earth. But that's what this is like to me. It's that
the deer turns and looks at you,
and you for a moment, you know each other.
Who's the deer and who's the hunter in this scenario? Chat.
There are no hunters. We're all deer.
We're all deer. No, I envision you following a magical buck into the forest, and then you look around, you're like
chasing it.
Yeah, you've forgotten about the hunt. You're like, I'm in this beautiful.
Yeah.
Like a grotto or a
waterfall. Yeah. What do you think, Wanru?
Very drinkable. Surprisingly drinkable.
It is for like 63%. Like you would not think this is that. I mean, there's definitely there's some heat in them when you taste it, but
it's not the kind of, I've had 63% that makes you fall off your chair. This is not this.
Yeah. Definitely, it's hitting me strong on the top of my palate and the back of my throat, back palate, we'll call it. So that's probably the alcohol, but it's sweet and smooth. The peat is very subtle, if I can even taste it all. It's very drinkable, actually. It's delicious. What do you love about? Why is this your favorite? Tell me what makes this your favorite.
That also like the attack and the finish. Like it comes in softly. It comes towards you softly, like like a Grizzly Adams, right? And then it gives you this hug that is like, I fucking love you, and it's just the right length. It's just like that, and then it's like, and then it slowly lets go, and it's like, yeah, man. And that's the finish. It's like that sort of like. It's like it's still there. It's like he's present with you, that Grizzly Adams guy, but like it's all of the steps were the perfect amount. Like the hug wasn't too long. It was a very deep hug, but just the right amount of it being a deep hug without it being weird. Like you're just like this is a perfect hug.
You just feel comfortable.
Yeah.
For me, it is like someone has gone to every single whiskey I've ever tasted and picked the best notes out of every single one. And this is why I said it goes off in 9 directions at once. It's just kind of like, oh, there's that peat. Oh, there's that sweetness. Oh, there's that honey. Oh, there's that. And it's just all like the perfect flavor profile for me. Like I find nothing wrong. I find everything. And it's not just like good versions of it. They're excellent versions of all of these things. And
it's
remarkable.
Like when
a 5-year-old whiskey.
Because when I smelled it, there was like that candy store note, but it's like, that candy store is in there, but it's in there because we've got all the other things. And then when I tasted it, there was like, the Ardbeg as well as Port Charlotte, there's like Lefroy iodine in here. You're right. It's got like all of the things I like, but the most excellent version of all of those things.
Yeah. It's
like the decathlon athlete of whiskeys. It's like, I'm good at throwing spears. I can chuck this discus. Watch me do the 100-meter.
Yeah.
Right?
And now I'm going to swim for a long time and hold my breath.
And it's summer, but I'm going to cross country ski and then shoot a target.
Yeah. Also, I'm good at sex.
Totally a decathlon.
And I'm an excellent dentist.
Before I did this, I coded a new recursive algorithm.
Yeah, I created 5 apps for the iPhone.
Oh my goodness! What? I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
I fucking love whiskey.
Okay, that's fine.
Especially this one.
I think I'm starting to fucking love whiskey too, guys.
What?
Starting. This is it. This is how you get to tip
What
over.
happens?
Cross that line. I still am getting the blue cheese. That's that funkiness.
Yeah.
The taste is just like it wasn't as strong as the other ones. I could feel like I could taste certain things, but that's because probably due to the well-roundedness of it, because it has all these different elements that a more refined palate could pick out, like Andrews or Joseph's or whatever. But
refined, I don't know. We've just drank a lot of whiskey.
Right now, this is an overwhelmed palate.
Yeah.
Like I know that if I went back and had some of the banknote we started with, it's going to taste like water at this point.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, we generally always want to kind of go up in ABV if you're doing a tasting of whiskey.
Makes sense. All right, so we're rounding out our current meal. We've had the Hawaiian rolls, the bacon round dates, the mincemeat pie, right? We changed it from cherry to mincemeat. So what is this for you guys?
I think this is like a perfect meat pie to me.
Yeah, or
like a chicken pot pie. Like it's like a chicken pot pie, which is like a very pedestrian sort of like comfort food, but it is like a perfect chicken pot pie. It is like a chicken pot pie that almost maybe like has some mac and cheese in it. It has like a sweetness to the crust. It's like it is the quintessential platonic chicken pot pie. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the platonic ideal of a chicken pot pie. All of the chicken pot pies are a shadow on this wall of a cave of this chicken pot pie.
Right. The peas that were in there were like fed with an eyedropper to make sure they got just the right nutrients and water. It's just like that is the best pea you can have. Okay, let's grow another one.
Yeah.
Would you call it a roast chicken?
I mean, I think the chicken that went into the pie is roast, but yeah. I mean, it could be a roast chicken. I just think there's so many flavors in here. That's why I'd say it's a chicken pot pie.
Because of the medley, right?
Because there's a medley.
Yes, I agree. It's not like a prime rib or something. It's not like a one note type thing, right? You would say it's a mixture.
It is definitely a mixture of multiple.
I mean, it could also be like a samosa. Anything that has like, I think, because I think like the thing about like pastries, that have meat in them is it's like a whole meal in an entire
Yeah.
It's like you got your vegetable and your fruit and your meat and it's all there.
And you get the wonderful pastry with the butter and the lard and
Yeah.
And that's why I would say that.
Okay, got it. Chicken pot pie it is.
Oh.
The best non-pedestrian chicken pot pie. I mean, like the most elevated chicken pot pie you can ever have, right, Joseph? Or you're not talking about like Marie Callender's like straight from the frozen section. You're talking about
That is not what this is.
No. If like Marie Callender was like, if they were incarnated as a deity, and then they baked for you, the only like as if they were Sauron forging the One Ring, they baked the one pie. That would, all other pies that would be in controlled by that pie.
Right.
This is that pie.
Gotcha. If I think Marie Callender came back from the dead.
Right.
Zombie Marie Callender.
Incarnated as a deity.
Herself, as a deity.
That's what I was saying.
I was thinking zombie.
No, not a zombie. This is like she came back from the dead as an incarnation of all that is, baking. She's like the deity of baking. If there's a deity baking,
gotcha.
This would be,
There's a lot of baking type of bakery goods in this whole meal. Is it because we kept getting that buttery taste? Is that what it is?
It's probably something related to that. I mean, like it as at its base, it's made from barley.
So yeah.
And so if there's an allegory to a baked good, like it's really direct there.
And at some point, all whiskey is beer. It is beer for a while before it becomes whiskey.
What?
Yeah.
What?
A really crappy sweet beer, but it's a beer.
Yeah.
And then it gets more concentrated?
Yeah, basically they make the beer. It comes out about 7%, and then they go into the low wine spirit boiler. What's it called?
Distiller.
Chat will correct me.
Okay.
Kettle, low wine kettle. And that will boil it up to like 25% or something like that, and then that goes into the next one, the spirit kettle, and that will boil it up to 74 to 64% alcohol.
Right.
And they'll take the middle cut of that. The heads will go off because it's poisonous, and they might feed that back in and reboil it again. Still, thank you. Not a kettle, a still. And then the low wines, anything below a certain percentage, they might feed back in to boil it again to try and get a higher alcohol percentage out of it. They're very ecologically sound in that way, as they don't waste the spirit once they've got it made, as they really try and find as much out of it as possible. And it's to me, there's an amazing science behind it, and just like the shape of the kettle can matter. What angle the line arm coming off the top of the still or the kettle.
It's one of the reasons why I think the Indian whiskey was so interesting, because it's like, because it's in a different temperature, I think all of that matters. Like that changes like so many variables. The fact that like the angel's share is more, you know what I mean? Like it's just a different, like that's like a huge factor that
I think they have to factor that in, but it's obvious though that when they're putting that into the cask, they've got a good spirit to put in.
Yeah.
Right. It's a good start. The cask will refine it and make it better.
But I would like to have, I think it'd be great to try more whiskeys, like, from different climates and different locations, and like we've had some great Japanese whiskeys, we've had some great French whiskeys. Like it's, I don't know. I hope that more, it's such a simple thing. And I think like a lot of cultures make whiskey anyway, like, or some version of it, but I would love to, like, because a lot of people are making it now. I would just love to try some different whiskeys.
Except bourbon. Garbage.
But they make some good barrels to make good whiskey.
Yes, it's a good way to season a barrel.
So you would not drink bourbon?
We will.
Have drank.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
We've had people on the show who like brought bourbons to share with us because they're really into bourbon, and we enjoyed them very much. Like
Okay, but you'd like to use the bourbon casks afterwards to make the product you really like to drink afterwards.
Because bourbon is at least 51% corn, and that makes it a lot sweeter.
Yeah.
Right. There's usually rye. They can put other grains in there too.
You're never going to get something like this.
But you're not going to get something like this.
It's impossible.
You just won't ever.
So with the like the sherry casks and there's other type of casks, I can see that they could just transport it from Spain.
Yeah.
But are the bourbon casks coming from America? Yeah. And then what? Yeah. And they ship it to Scotland?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's part of the way they make money, because in the US, a bourbon cask must be virgin oak.
Oh, gotcha.
right? Which is probably a nod to the lumber industry in North America, but whatever. It has to be virgin oak, so they can only use it once.
Makes sense.
And once they're done with it, they're like, well, we spent $3,500 making this cask. What are we going to do with it? And the Scotch whiskey industry goes, we'll take that. We know what to do with that.
Wow. That's amazing. I didn't know that. I learned something new today.
Andrew, thanks for sharing this PC5 with us.
Oh
It's really good.
God.
So this begs a question.
What is it?
What is it?
Are we going to science this?
No.
No, you know what? Like
That already did.
Whiskey Enthusiast says I've done it and there's no need to science it. PC5 is perfect.
Hey, whoa. All right. So there
No,
is always the exception to the rule, and this is the exception.
No.
I would probably never science this until I was about to die, and then I would science it and then taste it, and then I could be like, okay, now I know that it was a terrible mistake.
Then you die knowing that you wasted your last little sip of PC5, though.
He would have a backup.
It wouldn't be a waste because it's still PC5.
I mean,
like honestly, this is probably my all-time favorite whiskey I've ever had.
I can't imagine why.
It's a 5-year-old whiskey, and this is where age snobs need to get off their age high.
You know what? Let them buy all those. Let them buy up all those expensive bottles. Like I'm this,
this 85-year-old in Macallan that I got 2 ounces out of my cask that I bought.
I would love to hear your tasting notes on this, Thaddeus.
Oh, sure, of course. So I'm gonna preface this with everything I'm about to list. I absolutely love. It may be sound weird, but I love these smells and tastes. So for me, the nose is like fresh printed toner. Like if you send like a job of like a minimum of like 500 sheets to print on like an office printer, and then you walk into the room, boom. And then like I get some dry erase marker in there. I can totally see the blue cheese, and I love blue cheese. And this is where it starts to get weird. For me, I got like a savory candy, and like the savoriness was like the savoriness of like turkey gravy, but the gravy is made from the drippings of the turkey, and I don't know. It's hard to explain. And then like there's just an ever slight hint of like crisp waterfall. Like you've gone hiking. It's like, a nice crisp 62 degrees. You're at the top of a mountain and you walk up to a waterfall, and then that first initial hit of that water is there. For me, the taste, it's sweet peat and like campfire, which I love, and dark chocolate of like at least 80% cacao. And then strangely enough, like NASCAR, it tastes like NASCAR to me.
What? Yeah, man.
Was that burnt rubber?
Yeah,
and
it's those giant tires.
Yeah. And then I love the finish. It's smoky. It burns, but it's a good burn. And just it stays with you.
It stays with you.
I fucking love whiskey.
I fucking love whiskey.
Fine, I'll say it. I fucking love whiskey too.
We didn't even ask, but thank you for volunteering.
Like pulling teeth over here.
Wow.
Sorry, you had to fucking love whiskey so much.
God, we're saving my life. So we're not sciencing this. Thaddeus, you're not going to do that, right?
No, I'm not. Even though I have a bottle of this, I still won't science it. Like I can't. I really want to. But I can't let myself do it. A, because I'm never going to get another bottle of this.
No.
Like this, how could this get better? I can't imagine it. So water can only harm it.
It's balanced on the head of a pin. It's like angels dancing on the head of a pin. How many angels? This many angels.
And Thad, was it you that gave me some of your PC5 at one point, or was that Topher's?
So, funny story about that. You got both of those.
Oh, did I?
Because Topher did it before the holiday break, and then I came back after the holiday break, and then I popped open my cork. And while I was opening it up, the cork broke, and luckily we had some coworkers there. They're like, "Don't worry, we got this."
Yeah. Well, I on the Instagram, I posted me opening the PC5. Same thing happened. That cork just disintegrated the moment I pulled it off. And fortunately, this is why you never throw away corks. I had another cork from a PC5 fit right in there. And bother your uncle.
Always keep your corks.
Keep your corks, baby. Keep your
So
cork
we can
pushing.
highly recommend the PC5. We cannot recommend the PC5's cork.
No.
Except as a backup to another PC5 cork.
I mean, I don't think you'd even want it as a backup if they break so easily.
So these were bottled in 2006 then, because these are 2001 distilled.
Well, I feel like Wanru already answered the question that we know.
I think we can still ask though, because it's.
By the way, I'm gonna go for it. Just to spare you guys.
Oh my God.
Just to spare you guys. Unless Andrew, unless this would hurt you, unless you're gonna, it's gonna hurt you in your heart if I do this. I feel like I should do one just for science, right? Just to be.
Hey, you're the guest.
You're the guest.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do.
I'm interested. If you want to try it, you should try it.
Okay, I'm gonna do it just so that you don't have to. I'm
Okay.
taking one for the team, and actually, you guys are enjoying it so much without.
It was gonna happen eventually. Look at Chloe. She's like, why is everybody falling down and freaking out today?
Okay, so you lose. You know what? Lose. I'll tell you what happens. You lose the blue cheese, and then a little bit more like butterscotch comes out. So it changes it altogether. Andrew, you're right. Andrew, you're right. Joseph, you're right.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna taste it. Let me see what it tastes like.
You know, in about 5 minutes,
Lovely.
I'm gonna kick you off the show.
I know.
The show's gonna be over in 5 minutes.
Well, don't parse words with me, mister.
I think Wanru is very brave.
Yeah, I think she is. I really appreciate you.
It's very smooth. Like I said, it's smooth, easy to drink. I don't think it changed it in any way. I don't know. What do I know? What do I know?
What do you know? You know what you like.
Yeah, you know what you like.
Basically, you guys don't have to do that now.
Thank you.
You don't have to do that. I took one.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Okay, so what did you say you ran out of today?
Oh, well, you've had these whiskeys today.
Like 4 of them, actually 5 if you include the starter we warmed up with.
And when you started, you said, I kind of like whiskey.
Yeah, but you weren't sure.
You weren't sure.
There were some doubts in your mind.
But now that you've had these 5 whiskeys,
Right.
You've got a really, really specific question. Just let us state it and think about it. Think about the answer.
Okay.
yeah, take a drink of water. That'll help.
Okay.
Prepare yourself.
Okay. All right, I'm ready.
Do you
like
whiskey?
No. But I fucking love it!
What a surprise.
Okay, now this is completely off the cuff, okay?
Okay.
We drank 4 whiskeys today.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to just throw out a bunch of questions.
Fantastic.
Okay, and you guys just answer it.
All right.
We'll try.
Okay.
We might lie.
All right. For Chris,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
No,
Give me a
first.
second.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, of these 4, which one would you give as a gift to somebody you really respect and admire?
I fucking love whiskey.
What?
I'm sorry, what? What's the question?
Which one
of
would you
these
give
4
to
would
someone you respect and admire?
This is going to be a super nice gift for somebody.
I think the Ardbeg Scorch would be delightful.
Yeah, it's hard to say because it depends on if they like whiskey or not. Some people don't like peated whiskeys. Like it's like giving someone blue cheese. Like you wouldn't just give blue cheese to someone.
Sure.
So it depends on the person. Like if it was Andrew, it would be the PC5, obviously.
Yeah.
If it was someone who I didn't know if they liked whiskey or not.
The Cooper's Choice wasn't a very expensive one, but it's super good.
It might be the Cooper's Choice because it's a good starter whiskey. For someone who doesn't.
Yeah.
The Scorch is if you like whiskey, but you've never really been into peated, the Scorch might be a good place to get into that,
Or it might be just too complicated.
Yeah, I just feel like the PC5 is although I think anybody would enjoy it, it's one of those whiskeys, you almost have to be someone who likes whiskey to really appreciate it.
Yeah. It is bottle, what bottle did I get? 5732 out of 6,000 bottles in the world. The PC5 would be for me. I will share that with people, but if I find a PC5, I'm gonna buy it. Like I found that one and I bought it, and it is the most expensive bottle that I own.
How much is that?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Oh, okay.
It was ridiculous. Like imagine a ridiculous number and then probably double it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. How about you, Thaddeus? Which one would you give to somebody you respect and admire? I know it's hard to tell because you don't know if they appreciate whiskey like you.
But say they do.
So if they appreciate whiskey, most of the people I know are back east and they are huge bourbon heads. So I would not spend the money on the PC5. I'm with Andrew with this. I would probably honestly go with the Paul John one from India. Like I really do enjoy that one.
I can see a bourbon drinker finding that palatable.
Like had the PC5 not been in this lineup, like that would have been my favorite one, probably.
Oh, interesting. Okay, good to know. All right, let's change it.
Okay.
All together. You're in a mood.
This is a new format for us because no one ever asks us questions like this.
Well, because I'm thinking of someone.
I
have someone, a construction foreman who I'm thinking of who loves whiskey. So that's why I asked for myself. You see, it's very selfish.
But do you know if they like peated or not?
That I don't know, but I do know they're
that's
very
a big
open.
question.
That's divisive.
Yeah. Oh,
it is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So of these, remind me which ones are peated again? The Ardbeg.
Ardbeg and the PC.
Okay. PC is likely different type of.
It's yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But I can't afford it because it's a number it's a multiplier.
That one, but they have PC10 and you can get that pretty much anywhere. And those are totally in the affordable range.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal.
Okay.
They're just not bad.
Yeah, you could also get like an Ardbeg Wee Beastie, which is also another 5-year. That's
another Ardbeg, which is
like really affordable. It's like $41, I think, $45. Yeah.
Perfect. This construction foreman's gonna love this. Okay. All right. Now I have another one for you. This is again selfish. You're in a mood. It's been a rough day. You haven't listened to the full Adele song because you wanted to cry by yourself.
Right.
So think of something that will match your tears, your salty tears as you stream down your face, because you've saved this time of day to just really,
just let the day get to you and deal with. Okay.
Feel the feels.
Yeah.
Then what of these four, since these are the four I tasted, which one is your companion for letting the tears flow?
I think it'd be the Scorch.
I think it's the Scorch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind drinking a bit of it, because you probably want to drink a bit of it, but also you want something that's gonna, like, I don't know, just have some rich, deep flavors to it.
And complement your tears.
Yeah.
Salty tears. How about you, Thaddeus? Are you in agreement with them?
Like, yeah, I'm definitely in agreement because, like, for me, like, the Scorch on the nose has tons of salt, and I'm all there for it.
I mean, if it was a really, really bad day, like the worst day of your life sort of a thing, and you happen to have it, I mean, I think the PC5 would be the way to go. But, that would be like, your entire family just died or something. I mean, like, it'd have to be a pretty low day.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And, if I wasn't on the clock here, and we're already over time, but if I wasn't on the clock, I would be sitting there with that PC5 in my nose just for 20 minutes of time between sips. Yeah. It's so good.
What? I think that is all the time.
That's all the time we have. Yeah. But I have one question for you. So if a train leaves Pittsburgh traveling at 30 miles an hour and then, never mind.
Would you divert it to kill the 3 children, or would you let it kill the 25 Republicans?
Yes. If a PC5 was the reward for the second, the latter answer.
It's just a hypothetical. It's a hypothetical.
I even need another drink to answer this, but yes.
I want to thank Outside In. Thaddeus, thank you so much for all of this. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank you, Wanru, for being our guest, and so awesome and fun. Thank you to Geek Filter for doing our graphics. Thank you for Arlo and Alex for doing the music that intros and extros us. I'm sure there's people that I've forgotten to thank, but if you've liked this show, please follow us on the
hand
Instagrams and the hand and the YouTubes and the Twitches and the Twitters. Follow us, and also Outside In has a lot of other great, diverse, wonderful shows on it. There's a Star Trek discussion show on called oh my God, it just blanked on me.
Beam me up.
No, that's a good.
Just follow the channel. It's all on there. Yeah.
Wonderful stuff and great people. Please do that. Take care. Be safe.
I fucking love whiskey.
Fucking Whiskey.
Drink some fucking whiskey.
Oh,